you ever wondered what a spiritual awakening is? Well, if you've ever questioned that, I'm going to reveal in this video what a spiritual awakening really is, what causes it, and what the process is actually like when you're going through the process based on my own experience of spiritual awakening and working with spiritual awakening clients for almost 20 years. And at the end, I'm also going to show you how you can ground your energies and reduce even your worst, most challenging, most difficult spiritual awakening symptoms in just 5 days, okay? But first, let me answer some of your most pressing questions. So what is a spiritual awakening? A spiritual awakening really means waking to a higher awareness of yourself. It's recognizing that you are a spiritual being having a human experience and not the other way around. That's the shift that it has. And as a result, you begin to see things from a very different perspective. You start to change the way that you look at life and at yourself. But to help make this easier to understand, I want you to think of a caterpillar in a chrysalis. So it's dark in there, it's uncomfortable, there's not much room to move, but inside that caterpillar is changing dramatically, okay? It's wriggling, it's pushing, it's struggling, it's trying to break through the walls that stop it from being its authentic self. And when it finally breaks through to that other side, it emerges transformed in the light, able to do things that it wasn't able to do before. It's able to fly, okay? It's living a higher vibrational life experience, and that's what it's like for spiritual awakening. That is spiritual awakening in a nutshell. You're not going to understand what's happening to you. You'll feel lost and confused. You might feel completely in the dark, so I understand if that's what you're going through, and I went through that too. And it's going to be a very challenging experience, but that is natural, completely natural. It is a call to your higher consciousness when you go through spiritual awakening. It's a waking up from all that you were told, all that you were conditioned by, all the programming that you picked up as you were growing throughout your life, and all the beliefs that you have that ultimately limit you from living your higher vibrational life. They keep you small, they keep you limited, and it's about really moving out of the way of that, really shifting into something different. It's about being able to step into your authenticity and knowing who you are and bringing you back to the truth that you are a divine, eternal being of light and you're a connected part of the all. And that's where spiritual awakening gets really special. So now you know what a spiritual awakening really is. If you're nodding along and you know that you're going through one, you might want to take the pressure off a little bit. And if you want to ground your energies and reduce even your worst spiritual awakening symptoms, no matter how bad they are, no matter how long you've had them, click the first link in the description now and I can help you with that right away. We've got a system that will show you how to use and you can get that cleared up. So let's talk about the next step, and that's what causes a spiritual awakening to actually happen in the first place. Well, usually there are a few key things that happen that catalyze this process in your life. So it could be a traumatic experience, an accident, an illness that occurs. It could be a life-changing event, so maybe the death of a loved one, a divorce, maybe you lose your job. It could be an existential crisis, that place we get to where we ask the question, who am I? What is the point in all of this? What is the meaning of life? It could also be catalyzed by a near-death experience, meeting your twin flame or a soul counterpart, or it could just be that it's a natural awakening. It was destined to happen. You came into this lifetime knowing that's what you were going to do, and maybe through meditation, spiritual practices, energy work, it's just happened. It's just time, okay? And that leads us to the next question. What should you expect? What is the process of spiritual awakening actually like? Well, usually it begins with questions like I mentioned before, things like, who am I? You know, why am I here? What is the meaning of life? Or even, is this all there is? That's a big catalyst question. And this begins to help us to dismantle all the external things that you have built your life and your identity on that was ultimately false or unhelpful. And it's definitely about clearing the things that are out of alignment with who you really are on the inside, your higher spiritual self. And next, an adventure begins. It's an adventure in self-discovery where you start to shed everything that isn't you by purging. And that's the tricky part. So this means that all the old emotional issues, all the old hurts, the betrayals, the traumas, they're all likely to come right up to the surface, and they're going to come flooding to the surface. Okay, this isn't a slow meandering, maybe I'll work on something someday. It's happening now, and it all comes up. Okay, and that can be really overwhelming, but I want you to remember something. It's not torture, it's transformation. It all has a purpose, and everything that you go through throughout your spiritual awakening journey in this phase is specifically designed to help you to break free from everything that holds you back, everything that has stopped you from leading a higher vibrational life. People talk about getting to 5D. Everything that stops you from getting to 5D, you're going to be working on and clearing in this space, okay? And during this space, I'm going to be honest with you, you are going to be pushed to your limits. Okay, you're going to be overwhelmed. People around you are going to maybe think that you're crazy. They're going to see a change in you. You might even question your own sanity. You might be wondering, have I lost my mind? There's so many changes happening. I don't understand what's happening to me. But don't waver. Don't waver. Stay on course. Now, once this purging phase is actually over, or when the bulk of it is cleared, you're going to feel a oneness with the universe, which is the whole point of spiritual awakening, recognizing there's no separation, okay? You're going to be in alignment with the world around you. So manifestation and using any of your intuitive and spiritual gifts start to become effortless. It becomes a natural, normal occurrence, and you feel spiritually connected with the universe, and you feel totally aligned with your path and your higher self. Now, most people will tell you that it's a Zen experience, where you'll feel cool, calm and collected when you're going through spiritual awakening. But that's a lie. And I'm going to tell you the truth about what that experience really looks like. It is a challenging process of evolutionary growth. Okay, any pain that you go through, any difficulty, it's evolutionary pain. It's so worth it. I can't tell you how much it is worth it to move through those blocks, clear all this energy, and really start to move forward into much better things. There's a higher vibrational life waiting for you if you can just break through that energy. And I want you to imagine it. I want you to imagine being free from all the pains that have hurt you in your life. Imagine feeling centered, connected, feeling calm, feeling authentic, feeling loved and guided, and living in alignment with your highest and best self. That's what spiritual awakening is really all about. The first part, the messy part, that's not really what spiritual awakening is about. It's about getting you over that hurdle and onto the other side. And it really is worth it. It's a wonderful process. So now you know what a spiritual awakening really is. But let's be honest, it's ultimately useless knowing that unless you know what sort of signs and symptoms to look out for, so that you can know for sure. So please click the Spiritual Awakening Signs and Symptoms video that's going to be coming up on the screen, and the link in the description where you can ground your energy and reduce even your worst spiritual awakening signs and symptoms with my proven 4-step framework, and I'll see you in the next video.